Hello everyone and welcome back to Revs and Reviews. As you can see, I do have a pretty special SUV here in front of me. Today I am reviewing the all-new 2025 Lincoln Navigator Reserve with the Jet Appearance Package. This 2025 Navigator is sold already, but I do get the opportunity to review this beautiful Lincoln Navigator. Now, the main reason why I wanted to review this Navigator is not only because it is the L version, which means you do get a longer wheelbase, but this one also has that Jet Appearance Package, which is absolutely gorgeous with those beautiful 22-inch black wheels. Now, on top of all that, this Lincoln Navigator has a whole new redesign, which is going to give you that whole new front end with a whole new design along the front. So up front, including with that Jet Appearance Package, you're going to get this all nice black grille up front with that really big light bar going across the front, and at nighttime your Lincoln logo will light up. You also do get your active shutter grille down here, and it does have that gloss black and those like little Lincoln logos that flow down because the black grille is a part of that black appearance package, which is about a $3,000 upgrade. Now, the one thing that Lincoln absolutely killed on this vehicle was going to be the light animation. I absolutely love it. Look at how cool that is. It is a little hard to see in person, or a little bit hard to see on camera, but it is definitely a really cool animation. Now, on top of that, you're also going to get power running boards as well as soft closing doors, which is nice. Now, taking a look at these beautiful 22-inch black aluminum wheels, they do look absolutely stunning, and I really do like how everything is blacked out on the vehicle, such as the Navigator badges, the body colored mirrors, and there is no chrome along the vehicle at all. Now, also with the new 2025 Navigator, you are going to get a whole new rear end. So with your rear end here, you're going to get that Lincoln badge that's kind of like stamped into your glass here, which is nice. And then on top of that, that does light up at nighttime when you are driving, and you get this whole new animation on the back, which is nice. Another thing Ford and Lincoln did do for the Expedition as well as the Navigator is they did give it a split liftgate, which is kind of similar to like a Range Rover, which is nice. Now, this one does not have the towing package, but you can tow up to 8,700 pounds, which is incredible for a huge SUV like this. Now, you may be wondering, well, is it like a school bus when you're driving it? And I gotta be honest, it's not really that big of an SUV to like drive around. It honestly feels like you're driving like a smaller Lincoln. Now, obviously that it does feel like that because there's tons of safety features and there's tons of cameras around the vehicle with that Co-Pilot 360 assist. Now, this Lincoln Navigator does have a MSRP of $107,000, and I do have to say, I really do like this over the Cadillac Escalade just because the interior is just a little bit more upgraded than your regular Escalade. That's just my personal opinion because I really do like the Lincoln Navigator. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what's powering this Lincoln Navigator? So let's hop under the hood and see what's powering this big SUV. Moving along underneath the hood here of the 2025 Lincoln Navigator, you are going to get a lot of performance underneath the hood here. So you are going to get your 3.5-liter V6 engine pushing 440 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque, all-wheel drive with 15 in the city, 22 on the highway, and you can tow about 8,700 pounds like I did say. Now, the one thing I also do like about the hood is there is no hood strut, which is nice, and I do think that it is really easy to open up the hood and it's more useful. Now, overall, you do get a lot of performance and this whole new great design, which I love. Now, the Navigator is now screaming more luxurious. It kind of stands out a little bit more over the Escalade, I do have to say. Now, the reason why I say that is because the Lincoln Navigator is kind of giving that sassy vibe. It's got a whole new vibe, and it kind of reminds me of not just like a grandparents' Lincoln, because Lincoln is kind of facing away from that. This is reminding me more of like a vehicle the Kardashians would drive. Honestly, I do have to say, Lincoln has came a long way to make Lincolns more, 20th century, obviously, and it's not just your grandparents' Navigator anymore. It is a huge SUV that has the 20th century design and stands out a lot more than the Chevy Tahoe, GMC Yukon, and the Cadillac Escalade. Obviously, that's my personal opinion, but let me know in the comments down below. Would you take this Navigator over a Chevy Tahoe or a Cadillac Escalade? Personally, I would, just because the new looks of the Navigator are definitely a lot more sassy and it screams luxury. And honestly, with this black on black design with that jet appearance package, it's also screaming VIP. Now, what I mean by VIP is like, because you would want to be a passenger in this Lincoln Navigator because the back seats also do have tons of features. But moving up front to your cockpit up here, let's hop inside and go over all the new technology on the interior. Moving along to your interior here, you do get a nice black interior with that jet appearance package. So since you are going to get a jet appearance package for about $3,000 extra, you're also going to get a nice black interior. So moving along to your door panel here, you get this beautiful black leather door panel with your door release right here, these silver plated buttons for your windows. They don't even have a kind of stamp in for which window is which I do kind of like. It's kind of modern and sleek. You got your unlock and lock buttons, and then of course up here you're also going to have your 28 speaker Revel audio sound system, which sounds absolutely amazing. I obviously can't share it here on YouTube because I will get copyrighted. Now, moving along down here to your door panel, you do have a nice big speaker right there. You have a little grab handle. Honestly, I wish this was a little compartment for some change. You do have a little bit of a like smoked silver plating, and then down here you do have a huge cup holder for some snacks, and you could probably even fit 2 Stanley cups down there. Now, another thing you are going to get with the new Lincoln Navigator is going to be soft closing doors, your power running boards, and then moving to your seats, you get these 30-way power adjustable seats for your driver and passenger. Now, here on the interior, you're getting that black on black design, which is going to give you obviously that whole black on black effect. Now, these seats are heated, ventilated, and massaging, and they are heated for the rear seats as well. Now, these seats are very comfortable. They are very nice and plush, I will have to say. And since they are the 30-way power adjustable seats, you can move the leg rest right here. You can move the back of the seat. You can basically move everything, which is nice. Now, the one thing I will have to say, even with this black interior, is I really do like the white accenting. You would think that it would get dirty, but honestly, it's a really nice material, and it'll probably be really easy to wipe off. Now, another thing is down here, for all the ladies watching, you do have a compartment for your purse down there, which I do think is quite nice, considering that that is all open. And with the ambient lighting features, the ambient lighting will show a little Lincoln logo down there, which is really nice. Now, moving along into all the tech here, let's hop into this beautiful 48-inch curved display that the new Lincoln Navigator has. Now, moving along to the interior here, you are going to have tons of safety features and a ton of beautiful screens in here. Don't mind that little like reflection it's doing on the screen. It is just the camera. It is not the screen itself. Now, the one new thing that you are going to get is this heated leather wrapped steering wheel, which also has that Co-Pilot 360 camera right there, which is nice. Now, this steering wheel is a flat bottom steering wheel, which is nice, and it's very easy to turn, and honestly, it's a lot better than a regular steering wheel, I will have to say, because it is that flat bottom steering wheel, which I like. Now, moving along into all your safety features here, you are going to get a ton of safety features for $107,000. So with all these safety features, you are going to get adaptive cruise control, lane center assist, intersection assist, pre-AEB braking, which means basically if the vehicle knows that you're going to get into an accident, it will automatically brake early for you instead of like slamming on the brakes. So it'll just like slowly brake for you, and that way you're prepared. Now, you're also going to get the heated rear seats. On top of that, you're also going to get your Co-Pilot 360, and you do have your dynamic brake support. And one thing that is really cool about the Lincoln Navigator now is Ford is finally introducing your turn signal cameras. and you can use that for both sides, which is nice. Now, along with that, because you usually only see that on like Hyundai and Kia vehicles, now that Ford is introducing it, I really do like that. Now, with this steering wheel right here, there is really not any buttons on here. So the main button you have is going to be this button right here, which is to adjust all of your controls. So I'll zoom in up here. So we can adjust our steering wheel height, so we can adjust it to go down. And these little square things are like haptic touch. So it's almost like you can just scroll around. It's almost like a joystick, like on a Xbox controller, which I also do think is quite cool. Now, I did move it all the way down, that way we can get a better view of all the screens here. Now, moving on to this screen over here, it is very customizable, and like I said, with the ability to move everything over here, you can move your pedals, you can fold in your mirrors, you can adjust your left mirror, you can adjust the steering wheel, and you can adjust your right mirror. Now, personally, I would have liked to seen more physical buttons, like on the door panel, to be able to adjust my mirrors and stuff, and my steering wheel, but I still do think it is quite nice. Now, another thing you are going to get is when you push in, you can control your audio, and when you push in on this one over here, it is going to show you your lane keeping assist, because there's no button on the little turn signal stalk. You can also turn on your adaptive cruise control, which is nice, and then you can go back here and we can turn that off, and we can adjust like the gap in between everything. And then on top of that, we can press the reset button, and we can go back over here and press this, and we can turn that off, and then it will go back like that. Now, with this dashboard set up over here, it is quite nice because you're also going to get your speedometer up there. Obviously no heads-up display, because this is basically your heads-up display. Now, you're going to get a little bit of a picture of your Lincoln Navigator there, and then as you can see, your turn signal cameras will pop up right there. And when you're switching lanes, obviously the car will let you know that there is a vehicle in your blind spot, because you also do get the blind spot monitors. Now, along with that, you can fully customize your screens up here. So the way you're going to do that is actually with this screen down here. So we're going to press this little button down here, and we can kind of customize the whole screen setup up here. Now, this screen right here is customizable. You just can't do it from the steering wheel, which I'm not really a huge fan of. I honestly would have liked to seen that you would be able to customize the screen from over here. Now, I do have to say, I really do like the Lincoln Navigator here, and the one thing you can also do is control your voice assistants here, and then control your music, like I said. Now, now that will disappear. Obviously, you can't like customize this part, but what's nice is you can customize these parts over here. Now, the one thing you will notice is you will get different drive modes. So since that is kind of built into all these screens, we'll go over the different drive modes real quick. So to access your drive modes here, I am not sure why the wipers turned on. That was kind of weird. So to access your drive modes here, you're going to go to your little navigator icon, and it is kind of like a little navigator button. Now, you also do have auto hold, and then when you press drive modes, you'll get all these different drive modes. So you'll get your normal mode, your excite mode, and then you will also get your eco mode, you'll get your slippery mode, and then you will get your deep conditions mode, which will also show you your camera view and bring up your forward-facing camera, which is also nice. Now, along with that, there's a little hidden button over here. So you're actually going to have a little hidden camera button down here, and it's like right here, which is nice. Now, you can see all of your camera views from up here. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Don't mind the little effect that it's doing. So you can see your front view, and then it will give you a 360 view. On top of that, you can see your invisible trailer if you do have a trailer connected, and it will also give you a overhead view. Now, you can also see your 2 front wheels, which is nice, and then you can see your back 2 wheels, which also include that like camera view for your turn signal. And then if you press this, you'll go back to a 360 view, which is nice. Now, on top of that, it will also give you like a trajectory line, which is nice. And I do like that because I do like having the trajectory line. Now, moving along here, we can customize these screens up here. So with these screens here, if we go to this little icon down here, we have our 3 presets right here. So right now we have our compass, our music, and then we have our fuel economy over there. Now, we can fully change this out. So if we want to have our clock right here, we can have a clock right there, which is nice. Then we can have our weather over here. And I like how it's almost like an iPhone where you can just customize everything. And I really like how Lincoln is doing that, including in the Nautilus, which I like because it obviously is a more affordable option over a Navigator. But obviously the Navigator is a lot more nice. Now, another thing that you can do is we can also move our media over here. And now we have a clock, our weather, and our media, which is nice. Now, moving along to that, we can press this little button right here, and we can go into this Rejuvenate mode. Now, I am going to show you this Rejuvenate mode because it is going to give you a full 48 inches of a waterfall, and when you press that 5-minute session or your 10-minute session, it will fold your seat back, it will turn on the air conditioning, and it will also even play a little sound, which is nice. And I do think it is quite a nice feature, including when you're like in the school pickup line and you want to relax for a little bit while you wait for your kids. Now, on top of that, since Lincoln is switching to the full Google system, you are going to get full Google compatibility. So you have your Google Maps, your Play Store, Google Assistants, AM, FM radio, Sirius XM, Bluetooth messages, Apple CarPlay. You will get software updates, and then you also do have your 5G Wi-Fi hotspot. You have YouTube, and then of course you do have your settings button right here. Now, within your settings here, you can go to your display settings. You can have a touch screen beep, a brightness level, and then we can go into a couple of different modes in your themes for your screen. So there is a mode called Tranquil, I believe it is called, and it will kind of give us this darker view of the screen, which I like. We also have a mode that is called Engage, which is going to give us kind of a brighter theme, I'd say. It doesn't really like show it well, but you do get somewhat of a brighter theme. And then you do have your theme, which is Inspire. Now, this is my favorite theme of all time here in the Lincoln Navigator. Obviously, as you can see, it changed the full theme of the whole 48-inch display. And I do have to say that's probably my favorite theme here in the Lincoln Navigator. Now, this screen right here is going to be your main control panel, and it is a 11.1-inch touchscreen, which is nice. Now, you also do have your voice assistant setting, your privacy setting, your Google services, and then you can go to your driver assist. You can also have your exit warning, your rear view camera delay. You can also have your cross traffic alert and all your pre-collision assist and your automatic emergency braking settings all set up right through here. Then if we go to our vehicle settings here, we have our 30-minute max idle, we have our lighting settings, we have our easy entry and exit, we have our power running boards, our windows, wipers, power split gate, door keypad, and then our display coolant temperature, and then our oil life settings. And then we can also go to our system and reset everything if there was an error or anything. Now, moving along to your home screen right here, you will get different widgets. So you can customize all these widgets over here. So obviously right now we're seeing navigation, add your phone, our profile, because you can set up a profile within the Lincoln My Way app, which is nice because you can also use your phone as a key, which I do think is a great feature. Now, along with that, if we go back to our apps over here, we can go down to our hotspot, and then we also do get games, and we can go to our Google Play Store. Now, you obviously do have to sign in, which I am not going to sign in because this is not my vehicle, but you can obviously control all that. Now, another thing you are going to get is your massaging seats. So you do have your driver memory settings. So you do have your 3 memory seat adjustments. And then if we press the seat button right here, we have our move front passenger seat, and then we can also have our massaging feature on. So we do have a pulse, a rolling, a recovery, a relax, and a circular motion, which I do like. Now, on top of that, I like having it in that rolling mode because I do really like that. Now, you can also adjust your massagers, and then you can also adjust your passenger seat, but you do have to have a passenger in the seat. Right now my bag is over there, so obviously it's not going to detect that. Now, another thing you can do is you can fold down the rear seats from this screen. If your kids are being bad, you can hit them in the head with the seats. Obviously that's just a joke, but obviously you can fully control your seats from up here. Now, another little cool feature you are going to get is your little navigator over here, and it is going to spin a little bit, and you can open your split gate. And then if we do have our downhill descent, and then we have digital scent. Digital scent is a whole new system that Lincoln is using. So we have Violet Cashmere, we have our Azure, and then we have our Mystic Forest. Now with that, we do have our Lincoln cartridges, and they are down here in this little compartment. So if we open that, we have our 3 different scents. And now that they are digital scents, they will connect to the screen, and when you have your air conditioning on, it will blow out a scent. Now, the Violet Cashmere is probably one of my favorite scents, just because of the fact that it does smell really good, and I really do like it. Now, of course, we do have the heat on full blast, and that's why it is getting hot in here. So I'm just going to turn that on the air conditioning. Now, you can also turn on your max AC. You can have it circulate, and then you can also have your good cabin air filter. So that's what that button is up here. So if there is like bad air outside or something, the vehicle will basically pick that up and basically restore that air on the inside of the vehicle. Now, the one thing I do like about this screen is all of your controls right down here are going to be for your climate settings, and they don't move, which I absolutely love. Now, moving along, we can go back here, and then of course we do have our lighting. So we have our headlight controls over here, because there's actually no headlight controls on the stalks or anything, and there is no lighting controls down below by your driver footwell, which I do think is also quite a nice feature. Now you can turn on your parking lights, your fog lights, and then you can turn them on automatic or whatever you would like to. Now, moving along, we also do get ambient lighting in the 2025 Navigator here. Now, you only do get a few colors, which I do wish we could have gotten more colors. So obviously, as you can see, we have it on both sides of the doors and the footwells, so the back seats, the front seats, and then we have it across the dashboard of the car as well. Now, I do like personally having it on the blue mode. I do like having it on that dark blue. Now, obviously in the Lincoln Nautilus, the ambient lighting is a little bit more visual, but I still do like the fact that we still get ambient lighting. Now, we can also set parental controls if you do have a kid driving this. Personally, I would not let my kid drive my vehicle that's this expensive. We also have our vehicle status and then our settings, and then we can adjust the brightness of the seats. If we go into settings here, basically it's just going back to our vehicle settings, which we already went over. Now, along with that, we can scroll back up, and then your drive mode selector is right there. And then I really do like that customization for both screens up here. Now, down here, you do have your trailer steer assist, which is nice. And then all the way down here, we are going to get our crystal volume knob, which is absolutely gorgeous, and I really do like it. Now, to change gears, they still have the piano selector, which I like, and we can pop it into reverse just like that, and it will show us our camera angles, and then we can put it back in park, and I do really like that crystal shifter. Now, we have our automatic parking, which means the Lincoln Navigator can park itself, which is nice. Then we can change our gear right here as well, and then over here we do have a drive mode button over here. If you don't want to do it from the screen, we have our auto stop start button off, and then we also do have our hazards button. Now, the one thing that Ford has done that has really irritated me lately is going to be the fact that these buttons are one big button, and I know I mentioned that in the Ford Escape, the Lincoln Corsair, the Ford Bronco Sport, because usually they're all up here, and I do gotta say, I really don't like that setup. But honestly, if you do prefer it, it is also a nice button haptic, but obviously I don't like having all these buttons as one big button. Now, you are going to get 2 cup holders with a wireless charging pad, a little storage cubby, a USB, and a USB-C port, and then you're also going to get this really nice wood grain up here that is this nice tan color. Honestly, even if you were to spill coffee on this or something, it would clean it right up if you use like a Mr. Clean Magic eraser or something. Now, moving along into your center console here, this is a very soft center console, which I like. And then if we open it up here, we do have a little storage cubby down there. On top of that, we also can take that storage cubby out. We have 2 USB-C ports, a 12 volt, and there is a little bit of ambient lighting down there. And then we do have our Lincoln Rejuvenate scent package, which is nice. Now, this scent package is basically going to have all your scents that Lincoln offers. So with the scent, we can just pull it out of this little box, and it's basically just going to show you your Lincoln digital scent. Now, there is more options available, but when we take it out of the package here, and I usually do like unboxing these, it does have a really nice scent feature. So this is upside down because the cartridges were already put in. So it's basically just going to tell you about your cartridges here, and then if we move along here, we are going to have our Mystic Forest, our Azure, and then our Violet Cashmere, and it will tell you a little bit about every scent and like what is in the scent. So you can pause the video to read that. Otherwise, we're just going to close that back up and put it back in the packaging. Now, the one thing I really do have to say that I like, and this is going to be weird that I really do like this, is I really like how luxurious the package feels. Now, I do have to say, I usually don't do like unboxing videos like this, but I gotta say, this package is really luxurious, and it kind of reminds me like of a Prada box, or it kind of reminds me of like a Chanel or Coach box when you're like opening it up. Obviously, if you've seen those videos on TikTok, you kind of know the satisfying part of it. Now, also, you can order different scents from Lincoln.com, and of course, there will be other scents available, which is nice. Now, I'm just going to put that back down here for the owner of the vehicle, because I really do like the fact that we do get those scents, which, I mean, they're great smelling scents. Obviously, we are using the Violet Cashmere one right now, and I do like that scent a lot. Now, overall, here in the front of the vehicle, we got a really nice cockpit up here, I gotta say. If I was driving this vehicle, this is where I'd want to be at all times. Now, overall, the front of the Lincoln Navigator, the whole design, this interior is absolutely stunning. Obviously, I do like the air vents that go across your dashboard here, and even when you turn the vehicle off, you will get an animation, which I do think is quite cool. Now, another thing I do want to point out is, since this is the new Lincoln Navigator, it has a ton of features that will come standard with the Ford Expedition as well, which is nice. Now, overall, the front end of the vehicle is absolutely lovely, so let's hop into the back seats and see if a 6-foot-tall person can fit in the rear seats of the 2025 Lincoln Navigator Reserve L. Now, moving along to your back seats here, you will get a nice little accent in your rear quarter glass, which is nice. And on all 4 doors and your trunk, you will get the keyless entry, which is nice. Now, moving along to your back seats here, you do get some special features back here. So moving along to your door panel, you get this really nice black leather door panel with your Revel audio sound system right here. You're also going to get that really nice white stitching with that smoked out silver plating, and then a big enough cup holder for maybe some kids' drinks or possibly even a Stanley cup. Now, moving along back here, you do not have your little control panel in the middle. That is a upgrade, which I do think is about $7,000, but you are still going to get these really nice heated rear seats, which are really nice and perforated, and honestly, it has a really easy system to get into your back seats, of course. And then if you do have kids, there is hard plastic back on the back of the seats here with 2 pockets on each side, which I do think is nice, including if you do have kids in car seats that could possibly damage the leather, considering that is only a hard plastic. Now, another thing you will get is that beautiful panoramic sunroof. Now let's hop into the back seats here and see if a 6-foot-tall person can fit comfortably. Now, moving along to your back seats here, I do have plenty of legroom back here, and I do gotta say, I really do like all the features back here, like your home power source, and then your 2 cup holders down there, and that little screen right there is going to control your heated seats back here. You can also control the climate in the rear here, and you can also control some other features from there as well. Now, you're probably wondering about the legroom back here. We have about 42 inches of legroom, 37.4 inches of legroom in the 3rd row, and up front we have about 43.5 inches of legroom, which isn't that bad for a big SUV like this. And of course, you will get more legroom than you would in the regular version. And on top of that, the Lincoln Navigator is also 11.9 inches longer than the last model year, which also does give you about 9.6 inches of ground clearance. And on top of that, it's going to give you a bigger, bolder, and more spacious vehicle. Now, moving on to that, let's hop out and let's hop into the 3rd row and see if a 6-foot-tall person fits comfortably in the 3rd row of the 2025 Lincoln Navigator. To get into the third row, you do have a pretty easy process. There is a electric button right here that you can use, and it will move that seat up and it will push your driver's seat forward just a little bit. Now back here, you will have the ability to climb back here, which is nice. And since this is that Navigator L trim, it does have a bigger rear cargo area as well as a nice big third row, which is nice for adults as well. Now let's hop back here because we do have a nice easy way and step to get into the third row. So let's hop into the third row. Getting into your third row here, it is really spacious back here, and I'm actually pretty surprised. Now, that little thing up there is going to be your cabin talk, because obviously you might not be able to hear the driver if they're talking, since you will be back here. Now, of course, there is air vents in the roof on the second row and third row, and there's some speakers in the roof as well, because you do have the 28-speaker Revel audio sound system. Now, what's nice about these seats is they do recline backwards, so even if you don't have enough legroom back here, you can recline the seats. Now, this seat is in the normal position. This one is moved up a little bit more, so I do have a little bit more legroom, and then that way your passengers up there have a little bit more legroom. And I do have to say it's very comfortable back here, but for $107,000, I do have to say I would have liked to seen charging ports here, but the only thing you really get is going to be your oh, there are charging ports right there. You get 2 USB-C ports back here, 2 big cup holders, and like I said, I mean, for $107,000, you get a spacious rear third row, and I do have to say it is quite a nice third row. So let's hop into the cargo area and see how much junk we can fit in the trunk. The 6-foot-tall person getting in and out of the third row, I do have to give Lincoln the credit, because it is a lot easier than getting in and out of the Cadillac Escalade ESV that I had reviewed previously. Now, I do have to say that it is a very spacious third row, and there's plenty of room back there for 2 decent-sized adults back there. Now, let's hop into the cargo area. Now, the one thing that is really cool back here is you can control this whole liftgate from your key fob. Now, you will have different buttons down here as well, so you can open up just this part of the liftgate if you would like to. So it's just going to open up that part. Now, you can press this button right here to open up the rest of the liftgate, or if you don't want that open, you can just close that as well. And I do like how both parts are power, and you can control both parts at once, of course. Now, when you close the liftgate from your key fob, it will close both parts once it opens that part down there. And I do kind of like to call this the clamshell liftgate, because the way I see it is kind of like a clamshell, I have to say. And I do really like it. Now, moving on to your cargo area, you are going to get tons of space back here. And even with that clamshell, if you're having a tailgate party, you can sit back here on this and it won't break, obviously. This one in particular does not have the all-weather floor mats, but you can option it out with all-weather floor mats. Now, you do get a 12-volt and a home power source over here with 2 USB-C ports, some different tie-downs for your Lincoln accessories. Then back here, similar to the Bronco Sport, you're actually going to get camping lights. Now, I was actually kind of surprised to see this because you can move them just like you can in the Ford Bronco Sport, and I do think that is a nice touch, including if you are having a really nice tailgate party, maybe with a charcuterie board and some wine, because wouldn't that be nice to have a tailgate party in the park or even at Lambeau Field while watching the Packers? Now, moving along to your cargo area here, you will get tons of space with the Navigator L. So moving along here, you do get about 121.6 cubic feet with all the seats folded down, with only the second row folded down, which is going to be your third row right here. You are going to get your third row and second row, you're going to get about 75.4 cubic feet of space, and then with all the seats up, which is this little space right here, you are going to get about 37.4 cubic feet of space, which is also pretty good considering that is a lot more over the regular Lincoln Navigator. Now, over here we do have the ability to fold down all of our seats, so we can lower them and raise them, of course, and it will just take a minute, so give me 1 second. So the way you want to fold these down is you do have to fold down by holding, of course, and it will fold down the second ones, and then you can also fold down these ones as well, and you don't really have to hold the button either. So it will fold down flat to give you obviously a lot more room, and I do think that is a great feature. Now, overall, of course, you can also hold this one over here, and it will bring that one over there back up. And it will also fold down this one over here as well, which is nice. And I do like the fact that they are power. That way it gives you more flexibility for folding down the seats. And the second row up there will fold down flat once you move your seat up just a little bit, and then move it back once it is folded flat. Now we want to leave this one down. See, this is even a little confusing for me. So we just want this all up. There we go. Now they're folding back up. Okay, we got it. So that is just kind of a demonstration of how you control your third row, since it is power folding, and since you do have the power folding release for the second row. Now, you do have to manually move your second row back, but that is okay. Now, when you want to close your tailgate here from the key fob, it will close up your whole clamshell really fast and easy, which is nice. And of course, it does look great. Now, let's go over my honest opinions here on the 2025 Lincoln Navigator. Now, overall, for just under $107,000, I do have to say, the Lincoln Navigator is a great looking SUV, and even with that black appearance package, it looks even better. Now, since this is the Navigator L, you're going to get a lot more space, and honestly, you're probably getting a little bit more space than you would on the Cadillac Escalade ESV. Now, personally, I do prefer the Lincoln Navigator now that I have reviewed the 2025. I do prefer it over the 2025 Cadillac Escalade. That is one thing I want to make clear, and that's my personal opinion, because the Navigator does bring a lot more to the table when it comes to safety and when it comes to luxurious features like the animation and everything. And overall, I mean, it is a great looking vehicle. Now, let me know your opinions in the comments down below. Do you like the all-new 2025 Lincoln Navigator Reserve L? Now, let me know your opinions in the comments down below. And before I end the review, a huge thank you to Gordie Boucher, Ford Lincoln in West Bend, Wisconsin, for letting me come out and review this beautiful 2025 Lincoln Navigator Reserve L with the black appearance package. I'll see you guys in the next review. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you in the next review.